Lane Hutson is continuing to show out at the World Hockey Championships as he scores what is probably the goal of the tournament. We're going to be showing you that goal, talking about it, and his performance in general, plus potential Joel Armia and Mike Hoffman trades coming up in this offseason. We'll be breaking down all that on this edition of Habs Digest. Hello, bonjour, ahoy, and welcome to today's news edition of Habs Digest. I'm your host, Josh Gosse, alongside my co-host, Jesse Poirier. And before we get into the video, a quick reminder to hit subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos, especially in the off-season where we don't necessarily upload every single day. If you hit that bell, you'll know exactly when we upload and you'll be the first to hear our news. Let's get into this, Jesse. Lane Hutson is just dazzling everyone again. I mean, this kid is doing stuff that no one expected. Again, 5'10", barely $150, soaking wet. But Lane Hutson got an assist and then not long after had probably the best goal at IIHF Worlds. And I'm going to let this play. Jesse, not only did he score on this amazing play as he just nutmegs the defender, slow-mo into the one-handed poke past the keeper, he did that and then won player of the game with a goal and an assist. Holy crap, what is there left to say about Lane Hutson? This kid is phenomenal.
Lane Hutson having a bit of fun, as you would say, Josh, on that goal. Just that first move, right? Like, how explosive was that? Where you can see head up all the way, surveying the ice, explosive move to the left for that first forward, just absolutely leaving him in the dust. But what I like after that is a lot of the times after players make a great first move, they'll be content to just enter the offensive zone, right? And kind of chip it and kind of go to the sides, go to the peripherals. But what I'm liking from Lane on this play is he's taking the puck straight down Broadway, like right down the middle of the ice. He then goes between the legs of the defender.
We'll show it again.
And, right?
As we go down here, between the legs. Oh, unbelievable.
Right, and then that chip, right? Like, looking like Suzuki, like with the soft hands of Suzuki at the end with the chip. But like for me, this was like a combination when I see this goal of McDavid, of just those end-to-end rushes. I'm not going to say Bobby Orr yet, but he's on the radar with Lane Hutson. But also looking like Ovechkin, just for that determination. Because what I liked about this goal is there's so much skill, but it's also the will involved to kind of make it happen, that determination to really make a play, that self-pass through the legs to kind of chip it over. Like he's basically just missing being on the ice and kind of twirling around to pull the Ovechkin. But we're getting to almost that level of goal to see, which is just amazing to see from Lane Hutson.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to see a forward pull off that move. It's a whole other thing entirely when it's the defenseman, not to mention a tiny defenseman whose size is maybe his number one concern heading to the NHL level, but his ability to see the gaps in the defense and jump on them like that is really phenomenal, and that is something that's really going to translate to the NHL level. I mean, his game seems really complete through the Worlds so far, and we got a couple tweets talking about Lane Hutson from Chris Peters. Says Lane Hutson, Montreal, throughout the men's World Championship has looked like he did all season at Boston University. He's confident on the puck, makes good reads, smart decisions, and he's not afraid to try things, as we just saw. Averaging over 16 minutes a game, got moved to the top power play unit, started as a third pairing defenseman, mind you, on the second power play unit, now has 1 goal, 3 assists through 4 games. A point-per-game defenseman in the IIHF Worlds, Jesse. Again, maybe there's some defensive concerns with him, but the offensive upside at this point and what he's doing against grown men is it's hard to say that he'll end up ever being a bust at the NHL level.
No, it's nice to see that his game is translating to the higher level. He's playing against higher level competition, and he's absolutely thriving. The 4 points in 4 games. And for me, it's an absolute no-brainer. When you're that deceptive with the puck, with your hands, but then also with your eyes, right? Because you see that first defender, he kind of uses a little bit of a head fake on him as well, right? Like he's just completely left in the dust. And we've shown like previous highlights recently, from a shootout at the Worlds, where he just scored like a beautiful goal, basically just undressing the goalie by going 5-hole. Now he's doing this to defenders. Basically that same sort of idea, right? Where he just has so much control over the puck. He's just putting it into the spaces he needs to. He then has the speed to retrieve it and do something really skilled once he does. So, like, I'm just blown away. Like, this is absolutely amazing news and developments from Lane Hutson.
Yeah, and you know, Jesse, it's not just the scouts, it's not just the people watching the game, it's not just us as Habs fans who are noticing this. Even like players around the league, around the tournament are noticing it. And one, for example, is from Flames prospect Matt Coronado, quoting about Lane Hutson. He's definitely a special one. He's got a ton of skill. His offensive instincts are definitely one of the best that I've seen. He's so deceptive with his skating, with his hands, with his eyes. He does it all. And again, Jesse, when you're hearing this from players, right, it's one thing to be a scout, to just be a fan, watching what Hudson's doing and being blown away, but when players are saying, like, holy crap, this guy is, what he's doing is not something you'd ever expect. I mean, that's about as high praise as you can get, no?
It is. And even from his coach as well at Boston University, where he's really just praising him for his intelligence, his skill. But he's not really surprised at any of this. All the same, he's saying what a great teammate he is, how coachable. So it's so amazing to see when you have all this skill, if you're going to put that together with just being coachable on top of it, really the sky's the limit.
Yeah, it really is super exciting to watch him now. It'll be super exciting to watch him next year, probably still in the NCAA, but maybe by the end of next year, if Montreal has a spot, we might see him in the Bleu Blanc et Rouge. Jesse, let's move on to the second and final topic of today's video. We've talked a lot about the draft, but could Kent Hughes use some picks to help cap dumps? Now, these picks, I'm not talking about the Florida pick. I'm talking about some of the later picks. The Habs have a ton. I think it's 11 picks in this draft, and Marco D'Amico in an article the other day actually made a pretty good point, and I'll bring it up on screen. He says the Montreal Canadiens have refused up to this point to use any draft capital or salary retention to help move some of their veteran players on rich deals, and while Skip Dantley talks about guys like Armia and Hoffman could be clear candidates for cap dumps, but he says with Hoffman specifically, with just 1 year left on his deal, perhaps retaining on Hoffman's contract could be a more attractive solution to extract better value. But if Hughes prefers to retain full salary flexibility, which might not be a bad idea for Montreal, a mid-round pick could help convince a club to pull the trigger. Jesse, what are your thoughts on this? We've been talking so much about the Habs' 5th overall pick and what'll end up being something near the end of the first round, with their 2 first-round picks. But what about this load of mid-round picks they have? Do you think he might be onto something and that the Habs could maybe use those as leverage to get another team to take on one of our bigger contracts?
That would be amazing. To be honest, if we could do this to maybe involve a trade with Mike Hoffman, if we have to, and I'd much prefer the route of using, because I believe we have 5 or 4 picks just in that 4th round alone, right? So, 3 4th-round picks. We got 2 in the 5th round as well. So it'd be really nice to use that to our advantage. We know that having that cap flexibility is really important. So as much as possible, if we could stay away from any sort of salary retention, but if we could throw some picks in there as a sweetener to maybe make some room for some of our younger guys coming into the lineup right now, I would be all for that type of move.
Yeah, I think so too. And we've heard lots of rumors about maybe Joel Armia might get bought out. Again, there's nothing official. This is all just speculation. But based on the Habs cap situation, it could make some sense. But again, trading someone like Hoffman, if the Habs are like, hey, take a 4th and maybe like a 6th or something and just take Hoffman's contract, he might do something for you in the playoffs. It's not a bad thing just to maintain cap flexibility. So we'll keep our eye on that. Again, it's nothing confirmed, but let us know in the comments what you guys think of that idea. Do you think the Habs and Kent Hughes should start moving some of these picks? I know the Habs have we have a lot of faith in Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton to make good picks, but honestly, not every pick's going to pan out. Not every pick's going to be able to play for Montreal. So shipping them off to maybe maintain some cap flexibility might be the right thing to do. But that'll do it for this news edition of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We're well on our way to 6,000 subs. We really appreciate all the support on all our videos lately. You guys have been killing it with the likes, with the views. We really, really appreciate it. I'm Josh Gosse for my co-host Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.